time today. So good to see you.
Well, likewise, it's been a while. We need to catch
I
up.
I know. Well, I thought that this would be a perfect forum for us to catch up on, since I have been seeing your career trajectory and you've been doing amazing work.
Thank you.
And I thought that it would be great to have a conversation with you. So thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. And I'm so happy that you have this podcast. It's great to see you again. And I've been tracking you too.
um, so let's kick it off. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, obviously, I'm Vanessa Rodriguez Payne. I am currently working with the New York Roadrunners as the head of community engagement and government affairs. I started in the sports industry in 2008. I think that's when we met.
Yeah, yeah.
I started working for the New York Yankees. I've been in the sports industry now for over 15 years. This wasn't planned. I just fell into it, and now I'm kind of like the sports girl now. So all my roles have been in community engagement, government affairs, mostly community engagement.
Yeah. And how did you just fall into it, Vanessa?
So I graduated in 2008 with a public communications degree, and it was in the middle of a recession, and it was hard to look for a role. So I was applying every and anywhere, and I finally started going to these job seminars, career fairs, and I attended the MSG job fair, career fair that's coming up actually. And there was ESPN, the Yankees, the Mets, and I'm like, well, this is an opportunity to connect with a whole bunch of people that I don't know,
Yeah.
because I didn't know anyone in this industry. So I kind of did like a quick interview with my boss. Turned out to be my boss, and I was a little upset that day because there were so many people there, and they were just picking these resumes out and putting them in boxes, and I'm like, they're not going to read my resume. So I built up the courage and I said, well, if you're not going to read my resume, then I'd like it back. And that's fine. I can walk away because he hasn't fired me and he hasn't hired me. So
Right.
let's see what happens. And he says, whoa, he's like, actually, I'm looking for a coordinator in my department and maybe we should connect. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I walk away because I'm so excited and realize I didn't get his email, I didn't get his number, I didn't get anything. So I go back and I ask him, like, hey, can I have your business card? He's like, oh, well, I'm not really giving out my business card. So I give him this face and he's like, okay, okay. He gives me his business card and the rest is history. He's my best friend, my mentor, my brother. Worked with Manny Garcia for 7 years, and he gave me the opportunity to be his coordinator, then his manager, his senior manager, and that's how I fell in. I didn't know anyone, and I was just trying to get into something, and I ended up there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that story. I love that story. And especially nowadays, right? I mean, the sports industry is really tough to get into, but that story of preference, of you just being persistent and, being like going for it. I love that. So thanks for sharing that. And I know that you started off with the Yankees. So tell me how you all engaged with the community.
So in my roles and at the Yankees, we made sure that we were bringing in the community outside, right? When it comes to, for example, I worked in horse racing, baseball, tennis. Our job is to engage as much as we can, not only with the people that are paying to come into our facilities, but the
Mhm.
people that are around our facilities, that we have free programming, that we're giving back to the community, and that we are engaging the community in however way we can, right? I love this quote: alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So just bringing in the community, and in the roles that I've had, um, I see that community in me, right? I am that person outside, right? I am the person look outside looking in. And I've just been very grateful to be able to be engaging in small businesses, right? Giving them the opportunity, right? Hey, we're going to have 10,000 people, 20,000 people in this area. they normally don't come to this area. Let's show them
Mhm.
who we are, and what we have around our facility. One thing that when you connected with me reminded me of the 116th Street Festival.
Yeah,
And we used to work on that, right? And I used to
yeah,
try to give you promotional items and things that we can give out, because it's the little things, when it comes to engaging community, right? And it's all about cultivating too a future fan, right, of the brand. I became a Yankee fan, because my dad, received tickets from his factory, and they were like, bring your child to this game. And since then, that cultivated me to be a Yankee fan. So giving that experience to the generation to come, that, yes, I'm here out in the community, and you can also be you might not be able to be a baseball player or a jockey or a
hmm
tennis player, but you're able to be a part of this system, by doing what I do or doing any other thing. But you don't necessarily have to be a pro athlete.
yeah. I love that. And I think it's really, really important, right? When you think about growing the community and growing it from the ground up, right? It's number one, being a good neighbor, right? Because I know that whether it's, to people, like you said, that are looking outside, looking in, the small businesses, all of that makes up the community. And that's really what every sports team or even every brand needs, so that we can stay top of mind versus back of mind. I mean, I remember that 116th Street Festival that you and I worked on. It was like, it felt like miles and miles of people that we would have never interacted with had we not been there at such a moment, at that festival, which really resonated with everyone that was there because they were there to be part of their community. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Bringing their families, coming out, and you don't necessarily have to buy anything, but just being amongst each other, building that trust, that credibility, that loyalty is crucial. Not only for me personally when I build relationships personally, but at work and externally.
Yeah. Yeah. And tell us a little bit about the difference between community and government relations or government affairs. Like, how does that differ, if at
So
all?
yeah, it's still building relationships, building that credibility, that trust, but it's one is with our community overall, and others is with community leaders,
Mhm.
where we can engage them. There are a lot of local elected officials and senators that may not know that we're doing a program that's servicing their community or their constituents. So being able to bring that to them and saying, "Hey, this is what we're doing in the community. Would you like to partner?" So that's the basic difference. But the similarities are that we're engaging and connecting and trying to build something better, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And how are you I'm curious about in your current role right now, just in terms of knowing that health and wellness is such an important thing across no matter what industry you're in, right? How are you engaging folks to get out and run, if at all?
Yeah, we're providing free programming for seniors, for kids, for adults. Obviously, adults because they end up running, but seniors, you see 2-year-olds running out with their parents. It's adorable. So engaging them with all of the free programming that we have. There are programs where we go into senior centers and we start with movement, right? Then with the kids, we start with being active. A lot of times they're on their tablets or doing other things,
Yeah,
so engaging in that way, making it a family thing, right? We have these events that happen every Saturday, Sunday, where we invite all families to not run. You don't need to be a marathon runner, but you can walk. And then, I see seniors that start walking, at- and then they go from walking to jogging, and then from jogging, and I'm hearing stories about seniors 70, 80 that are running marathons. I could never. I'm just so out of shape. I would never, but that's amazing that we have people that are actively walking, and that's how we engage through our free programming, and just telling people come out and cheer for the marathon. You get to see how people are finished these marathons, and it doesn't have to be in record time, but they set a goal and then they completed it.
yeah. I think it's one of my favorite events, even though I don't like in my mind I run, but I'm an active walker. I love walking. If there were a marathon for walking, I'd be walking.
There's a
But
walking tour.
is
There's a
there
walking
really?
tour in the city. Yeah, there's a walking tour in the city. It's not ours, but it's pretty cool. I'll send it to you.
Oh, okay, okay. And the marathon, I just love the way that it feels like every single borough, it's like every single resident is out there cheering, right? Because it doesn't matter who you are, the fact that you've embarked on this journey of running through the five boroughs is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and you're seeing everybody cheering on and motivating everyone. It's just a great way, again, to build community. You might not be a runner, you might not be at all the parades, but you come out for this particular event to cheer people that you don't know on.
Yeah.
And the signs are incredible.
Yeah, yeah, and then the signs are incredible too, and people giving people water. Those are like the little things, right? It's just like they know that the runners need that extra fuel just to keep going because I mean, it's quite a task to run the marathon.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And how do you, Vanessa, in your role, how do you work across, the other departments, whether it's with marketing, with the sponsorships, like how do you engage with them to make sure that your message is getting out to the community, like at the maximum?
Well, we're continuously communicating out to the community overall what we do, right? Working with marketing, being able to tell those stories, create those stories, and say, we have someone here that never ran in their lives, and they're telling their story of what triggered this for them. Um, just overall, I think in every role that I've had to deal with every single department, right? Because you need the photographer, you need media, you need marketing. So sitting down and just project management, I think that's how it's worked. Sitting down and saying, what is our goal? Where do we need to be, and how can we push this forward? Working together.
Yeah.
And that's basically how I've been able to, learning everybody's personalities, learning how they do things, and how I can best work with them. I think that's one of my strengths, because everybody works different, right? So, but we have one main goal, and that goal is to be able to engage our community and our local electeds.
Yeah. And Vanessa, why do you think it's so important to give back? And not only from whether you work at a sports team or whether you work, at a brand, like it doesn't matter, right? In wherever you are in the world and whatever position you're in, why, from your perspective, why is it so important to give back?
I feel like there are a lot of times that people come up with these elaborate reasons of why we should give back. And I think for me, it's as simple as just doing the right thing, just being a good person and giving back to, our communities. Like I said, I see myself in the community, right? Being a woman and a woman of color, I see myself when I go into a group of kids and I'm principal for a day, and it's like, wow, I used to be that kid. Now I want that kid that I see to be more than what I am or do more than what I've done. So I think it's just good practice, good karma, and it gives you a strong foundation. I have a daughter now, so I feel like I want people to do what they did for me for my daughter, right?
Yeah.
So overall, just doing the right thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I just feel that there's so many things that we could all be doing, right? The smallest things. And like you said, it's just, making sure that people not only, the people that gave us opportunities, like I think back to the first person who gave me an opportunity when I started in the industry. And it's so funny how this happened. The very first HR person who gave me the opportunity to interview for an internship at Madison Square Garden, just last year, her son reached out to me
Full circle.
because he was looking to get his foot in the industry. And I spent like an hour talking to him. And it's just like, the circle and giving back. And that's why this platform is so important to me, because it's all about hearing stories like yours, and inspiring people and educating people, and most of all to pay it forward, because you never know where you're going to end up, and you're going to run into someone from last week or 10 years ago.
Absolutely. I think that it's great to be able to, like I said, give back. Anyone that reaches out, I try to. I mean, there's not enough hours in the day, but trying to help anyone I can, because I didn't really have that help when I started, right? Like, my parents are immigrants. The first thing they said was, "We want you to go to college. How you do it, we don't know, but we support
Yeah.
you." And I didn't get that help. So I want to be able to do that for everyone that comes to me. Um, I'm ready to take an hour to have those conversations with someone. I'm ready to give that reference because I would have wanted that for me. And I also want that for my daughter. I'm not going to be here forever, and I'm not, so I want to be able to help in any way I can. And I think that's been the theme of my career. Um, Trying to see people be happy, trying to see people excel, um, and especially in the spaces that I'm in, where sometimes I'm the only woman and the only woman of color, giving that strength to everyone, and little girls, that you can be in this room too and command this room.
Yeah, and take up space and not feel guilty for it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So there's two more questions before we let you go. One is, what would you tell your younger self today?
Um, Give yourself grace. I think I would say, don't be afraid to speak up. I found myself in rooms where it was all men, and I'm the only woman of color in a conference room. And I'm like, should I say that? Should I not say that? So having the confidence just to speak up and say, yeah, I think we should do it this way. And this is why. Sometimes it was a little bit of intimidation. But I think that that's what I would say. You you didn't get here just because you knew someone. You got here because you put in the work. You know your stuff, and you should be valued for your experience and for what you bring to the table.
Yeah, there aren't enough heart emojis for me to hit so that you could see how great that was great. I love it. And then my last question for you is, what three career insights would you share with those watching or those that'll watch on the replay?
Three career insights. I would say, let's see, there's so many. I would say always be open to new opportunities. I would say be confident in yourself and who you are, and um, create a support system for yourself, right? Because you can't do this alone.
Yeah.
So I would say those three. I mean, we always talk about mentorship and finding someone, and that's difficult, I think, in this day and age. But finding someone that it's not like when you're in kindergarten that you like pink and I like pink and we're friends forever, You have to you have to really build those relationships. And you might have not gone to the Ivy League school, you might have not had the support, from your parents or whatever it might be. Um, but building relationships really helps excel and helps you understand what your next step is going to be and what your future is going to be.
Yeah, that's great. Vanessa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to follow up with you and reach out, where can they find you?
They can find me on my Instagram, or my email. I can drop my email in the chat, or I don't know how that works because now Instagram is like, this is the first live I've done. So thank you for giving me the experience. um, but my Instagram is vrodriguez23, or I'll drop in my personal email for any questions, concerns. Also LinkedIn, Vanessa Rodriguez Payne. You can always reach out there. But anyone that wants to connect and learn more about my journey, or I want to learn from you, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. You can reach me there.
Yeah, That's great. Well, thank you,
Thank
Vanessa. Thank
you.
you so much. I'm glad that Kick It by EP was your first IG live. That's very
Thank
exciting.
you.
Um, yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and we will see everyone here next week at noon. Thanks,
Thank
Vanessa.
you.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Have a
Okay,
great day.
bye
Bye
bye.
bye.